Welcome, everyone, to the first ever annual Birds on Film Honkies. Honkies? I don't think we can say honkies. Let's call it, the Honkers. Please give a round of applause to your hosts, Dustin Wilson and Kyle Wall.
Hello and welcome to Birds on Film. Birds on film, birds on film, birds on film. Kyle, how the hell are you, bud?
I'm very good. I haven't seen you at all since the Sonic.
The
review.
Sonic review.
Yeah.
But you know what we have seen?
Movies?
A lot of movies this year.
I've seen some films.
A lot of films came out this year, and we're here to talk about it. Kind of how we're gonna format this is like a top 3 favorite of the year, kind of juggle back and forth.
Because we were too lazy to do 10.
Of course, of course.
We did communicate on the list, and I think our number 1 is actually the same, but we didn't. That's no fun if we have the same. If our list is just the same thing overlapping with maybe one change. So we communicated, made it so all 3 of our movies are unique.
Let's get it started. Number 3 film of 2023. Kyle, take it away.
My number 3 is The Batman.
I mean, tell me what you feel about DC films. Going like a little tangent.
I can't do a film video without going on a rant about the DCU and how trash it is. I did it. You guys cut it all from the Sonic review. There's only 2 films in the actual mainline DCU that I think are worth a damn at all. It's Shazam and the Suicide Squad. The original Suicide Squad's trash.
The hell's wrong with you people?
We're bad guys. It's what we do.
What separates the Batman from the mainline canon?
I think the main thing that makes the Batman a lot better than this is it's standalone. It's a standalone film with its own universe. You don't need to watch 20 other things, or in DC's case, no comic book characters preemptively. The big thing about Batman was the understanding of the character, and and it was an interpretation we've never really seen like on film before, of like really honing in on Bruce Wayne's like mental instability. I think the most interesting thing about Batman is the argument that a lot of his rogues gallery makes, that he's not well either.
Yeah.
He's a man whose parents were killed in front of him, and the way he copes with that is he dresses up as a bat and beats up people.
A lot of people say that the film is like edgy and like too serious, but I think the film has a point to say with the edginess,
Yes.
and with the grit.
I think the beginning part of the film is very dark and gritty. Yes, like, I mean, Batman gives this monologue where he's basically like the city is full of trash, and like I need to kill him. Well, not kill. Well, I need to beat up all these people. I'm the only thing bringing order to the city.
I mean,
and it's
the
really
first scene that we see is like the typical like Batman fight scene, but it's shot in the sound that like these though he's punching these motherfuckers in the skull.
It's shot almost like horrifically.
Yeah.
Like he's like, did this random goon deserve to get his brains bashed in by Batman? I think like his relationship with the Riddler is very interesting, because his relationship with the Riddler basically is like, it's revealed later on in the film. Spoilers spoilers for all these films pretty much. But it's revealed later on in the film basically that the Riddler loves Batman. He views him as someone who's on his side, because he views Batman as like him and Batman having a very similar ideology.
Yes.
And that kind of horrifies Bruce to an extent. Oh, this disgusting criminal can't tell the difference between me and other criminals.
There's that amazing scene when they're talking to each other behind the glass. The glass.
Yeah.
And I like Riddler cannot believe
Yeah.
that Batman is against him.
Yeah.
Like he's almost in denial, like this
No,
feverish
yeah.
denial. It's and perfectly played by Paul Dano.
Yeah.
This is not how this was supposed to go.
Also, I'm a big fan of the Riddler.
Yes.
I've always been a big fan of the Riddler. This is what I wanted for the Riddler. I wanted a very serious interpretation of him. I also would very much like to see more goofy interpretation. I just want to see more of the Riddler because I think he's a fun character.
Yes.
Just like the idea of like this guy that thinks he's so smart, but he's just basically giving kind of like simple riddles. And sometimes they play him like he actually is that smart. And that's a fun dynamic too, of like this guy that's so confident that he's like messing with the police and Batman.
But what's interesting about this interpretation is that like they kind of make him pathetic, right?
Well, that's another thing I like. Like the expectations of like the whole film, they're building him up like this like calculating Zodiac figure, right? Of like he's messing with the police, we can't keep up with him. And then when they finally get him, he's just this sad loser.
Kind of like an apt comparison in the film from Bruce Wayne and Batman, right?
Yeah.
Batman being this like badass, stone cold motherfucker where people are running scared of him, even the people he's trying to protect.
Yeah.
And Bruce Wayne is like this little shut-in.
Yeah. The thing with Bruce is he's shut himself off completely. He doesn't want to be Bruce Wayne anymore. He basically wants to wake up, like sleep, do the bare minimum as Bruce, get back in the suit, get out there and fight people, like stop crime. But the thing is, he could be making a difference as Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's kind of wrong for not using for just using this money to make a bat suit and a bat car and all this just to go out and beat up criminals. The movie knows that Bruce has good intentions, but they also know that like he's very much a kind of an angry child lashing out at crime because of his parents' murder. The end of the film, and I know it loses a lot of people because it is a bit of a drastic tone change where it kind of goes from like this kind of gritty, almost a detective film, like with him and Gordon being like buddy cops, and it kind of just turns into like, oh, the city's flooding, like you got to beat all the goons. And I get it losing people. I do. It didn't lose me or you.
Yeah, it did not lose me.
I think it's very important to the message of the film because basically the journey that Bruce goes on is that he starts out as this like angry, brooding loner who is using his parents' wealth to just take out his anger on like not innocent people, but like criminals that probably don't deserve to have their skulls bashed in.
Yes, no, exactly.
And then at the end of the film, he beats these goons, really stops a tragedy from being a lot worse in Gotham. He starts saving people, and it's in broad daylight. We never see Batman really in broad daylight besides this scene because it's Batman going and like carrying people out of the flooding areas, him being a hero, because that's what Bruce, and that's what his monologue at the end says pretty much. He's like, it's not enough to be a symbol of fear to the criminals. You need to be a symbol of hope to the people. The citizens who are following the law shouldn't be scared of Batman.
No.
They should view him as a protector, as a hero that is there to help them. But a lot of them were just scared. Like, there's this guy in a bat suit that just beats people up at night. He can help as Bruce Wayne as well as Batman.
The hell are you supposed to be?
I'm vengeance.
I got you!
Well, enough about superhero films. Let's move on to your superhero film pick.
My superhero film pick? Steven Spielberg's The Fabelmans.
Wow. How's that connected to the DCU as a whole?
Let's talk about it. I love Spielberg.
Now, I haven't seen this film. I should
This is
clarify.
this is the one film.
Yeah, this is the one film that I haven't seen that you have. So I'll just kind of try to ask questions like, is it any good?
It's pretty good. I think every single one of us that loves movies loves Spielberg.
Yeah.
Right? Like, doesn't matter what, even if you haven't seen like any of like the films that he's made, like you kind of have this respect kind of like engraved in you.
He's an icon. He's one of those directors that their name itself means something. Like Spielberg, Scorsese, Jordan Peele's become a new one with that.
Yeah.
Where people go and see a movie because it's a Jordan Peele movie. They don't really care who the actors are. They care that it's a Jordan Peele movie. It's kind of the same with Spielberg. People will go, oh, the new Spielberg movie's out.
In the world of like IPs and these brands taking over the movie theater, it's kind of nice that we still have a Spielberg making movies.
Right.
It kind of sucks when he's making shit like Ready Player One. Like, because I remember watching that with you, and I remember, like, being sad. Because it's goddamn Steven Spielberg. He's the fucking king of huge blockbusters.
Yeah, the thing with Ready Player One was I just feel like he's an old film head. I really don't think he can direct very well on a green screen.
He's known for these spectacle, whimsical, beautiful films, and it's so crazy to me that The Fabelmans is so not that. The Fabelmans is like just this incredibly down-to-earth, semi-autobiographical film where it's very heartwarming. It's got that little soul of like, I want to be a filmmaker in it that you can kind of expect.
Right.
But it's got some dark elements to it that I really like. Paul Dano and Michelle Williams play his mother and father. Excellent characters. If they were played by any other actor, I think this movie would have sucked. They're so cartoonish because they're almost directed like they're supposed to be from the 40s or the 50s, like the golden age of like Hollywood.
Right.
They're almost like portraying that. And it's so interesting, like Michelle Williams, she's playing Mrs. Fabelman, who's kind of going a little off the rails. And Paul Dano, he's kind of the straight-laced guy.
Yeah.
And you see that their marriage kind of crumbles apart as their son, Steven Spielberg, self-insert character, kind of falls in love with filmmaking, and he almost says that his filmmaking is like a coping mechanism.
Like I said, I haven't seen the film, but I have seen like interviews with Spielberg and stuff like that. He said he's been trying to make this for years, but he could just never get it right.
Well, I can imagine, right? It's a tough nut to crack.
Yeah, I mean, it's borderline therapy, I would assume.
Yeah.
Most of my movies have been a reflection of things that happened to me, but in the sense of The Fabelmans, it wasn't about metaphor, it was about memory.
Seth Rogen is brilliant. He plays the person that kind of gets in between the marriage, but you don't hate him at all. You don't hate any of the characters. Everyone's portrayed as like their motivations are laid out, and it's so real, while also having that beauty of a Spielberg film, that like whimsical nature of how he moves the camera and how he shoots something.
Right.
There's just so many scenes where it's just so goddamn heart-wrenching, and of course it got nominated for like a fair amount of awards because it's a film about Hollywood, and you know how Hollywood loves that. But I think, as I said, it's got a lot more to say. Like, he was a damaged kid.
Right.
And all he wanted to do was make films. And this film kind of asked the question of, like, was it to escape his own head? To make himself feel better? Probably.
I mean, I think it would go a long way with a lot of his filmography as well. I mean, because, like, but just like you said, that whimsical nature, it's almost like, did he create these worlds and like this vision of reality as escapism? It's an interesting question.
It is, and it's got one of my favorite endings of the year. They've spoiled it already. Like, Steven Spielberg has literally like been interviewed about it, where he shows the real life moment that he met Henry Ford.
Get real.
The greatest director of all time is played by one David Lynch.
Yes.
Which is so, he kills it. that kind of like meta commentary narrative of like the greatest director of all time being played by David Lynch. I just love that.
The greatest weather reporter of all time.
Good morning. It's December 16, and if you can believe it.
It's just nice to sit and watch a Steven Spielberg movie, be absolutely blown away by him. And like what he's able to do and the stories that he's able to tell. Like, honestly, if this was his last film, I think it's a great film to go out on.
You do what your heart says you have to, because you don't owe anyone your life.
Now on to a movie we've both seen.
Yes.
And both, I believe this is one of the films that you would have put on your list.
Yes, I definitely
You would have put this on your list, but I stole it. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. I had no hype. Like, when I heard about this, I was like, oh, like, but the thing is, I adored Puss in Boots as a kid.
Yeah.
He was my favorite character in Shrek. He like, I loved him. And I watched Puss in Boots 1, and it's all right. It's not, like, it's not bad.
Perfectly solid film.
Right. Puss in Boots 1 is fine. Honestly, the trailer, I rewatched the trailer after the film, and I watched it with Paul, our friend, and he and I told him, I said, this trailer kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Like, this trailer is like really playing up the comedy aspect, and honestly, it's like, it's funny. There's funny bits, but it is it has a lot more heart, and like none of that's in the trailer. And also, they don't even really show off like some of the more impressive animation. Like, they show the initial fight against the giant. That's the big thing they show in the trailer. But like, there's a lot of like awesome animation set pieces. This movie's beautiful.
Yes,
it's beautiful. It's like, it's obviously inspired by Into the Spider-Verse.
Yes.
How the fight scenes are shot is like entirely based on Into the Spider-Verse. Like, the frame rate literally drops to like the Spider-Verse frame rate during fight scenes, and it looks so stylistic and cool. You could say the plot's a little simplistic. Like,
but like we've always said on this show, Birds on Film, and I think me and you have talked about this. Like, sometimes the best plot that you can go with in a film is just make it as simple as possible, and you can build off the depth, like the hidden depth and meaning of that.
You died, Doctor. Relax! I am Puss in Boots!
The thing about this film is the actual plot is pretty self-explanatory. It's Puss in Boots. He is a cat. He has 9 lives.
Yes.
He is down to his last life, and when he learns that, he meets a bounty hunter who is later revealed to be, this is a spoiler, again, Death. He begins to fear this being his last life, dying. So he basically goes, retires, and then he finds out about the wishing star. If he gets to the wishing star before anyone else, he'll be able to get 1 wish for, and with that wish, he will wish for another 9 lives. The whole film is basically like Puss coming to this realization that 1 life is enough, and as long as you live it well. And it's like a really beautiful message, and it's performed great by Antonio Banderas. It's performed great by Selma Hayek as Kitty Softpaws, Harvey Guillen as
Burrito.
Yeah.
Burrito.
Yeah.
Everyone and their mother talks about on Twitter the panic attack scene.
The panic attack scene, yes. I actually suffer from panic disorder, so I've had quite a few panic attacks in my day, and it got me a little emotional. I was just like, oh my god, like, that's so real. We won't talk on it too much because everyone and their, like you said, and their mother on Twitter is like, have you seen the very realistic interpretation of panic attacks in Puss in Boots? But it's impressive that it's in a children's film. Every character is very developed. Like, they developed Goldilocks and the 3 Bears, like, I'd say a little less, which they should. It's Puss in Boots'
Yeah.
movie. A little less than Puss, but it's like there's like real development there with Goldie and the three bears, and like even Jack Horner gets negative character development where they basically we discover the fact there is nothing deeper to Jack Horner. He is just an asshole.
Wait, Mother of Goose, Jack! You're horrible! What took you so long, idiot?
It's Shrek, man. Shrek universe, when it's hitting and firing on all cylinders, it just has this way of saying so much, but doing little, right?
And it's funny because the majority of Shrek movies, well, not majority now, I guess exactly half, aren't very good. Shrek the Third is awful.
Yes.
It's actually actively a bad movie. It's very bad. Shrek 4, I believe, has some irredeemable. No, but that's true too. It has some irredeemable, like just awful shit in it. But you know, it's okay.
It's
too.
fine.
It's fine. It's what you'd expect a kids movie sequel to be. It's kind of what, in a worse world, what Shrek 2 could have been. It was weird. It was like Shrek 1 is like really good, really like changes up. It's just very different from animated.
An adult.
Films. Yeah, very,
Right?
very, like, adult-friendly, like, adults connect with Shrek 2. And Shrek 2 comes out, banger, like, genuinely, like, better in every single way. And then Puss in Boots is, like, fine. The original Puss. It's, like, it's fine. Pretty much what you'd expect an animated Puss in Boots movie to be. But then The Last Wish, that's up there with, like, Shrek 2. Like,
You
fantastic.
connected with it big time.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's a great movie. It's a big debate between me if Shrek 2 or Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is better. I think from like an objectively better film, probably Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Shrek 2 is a lot funnier. It's a lot funnier of a film. But like they're both fantastic films, Shrek 2 and Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. I highly recommend Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, but everyone's been recommending it recently.
Yeah, I was about to say, if you ain't on it yet, you better get on it.
Yeah, everyone's recommending it.
The panic attack scene is really good.
I heard that.
You've had panic attacks.
Yes.
We've both
I'm having one right now.
Nothing else you wanted to say about it?
No, I think I hit it.
Okay. My number 2 film of the... You know what you keep saying whenever I try and bring up my number 2 film of the year?
What?
Nope. I brought up Spielberg about how, like, the director movies, you go see this film because this person made it.
Yes.
Jordan Peele has slowly kind of become that.
He proved himself a visionary with Get Out. It was just a fantastic film on all fronts. The script, the directing, the acting, everything was fantastic. And then Us came out. It was well received. It was a little more controversial, a little sloppy maybe in some places, but people loved it. And basically, with that, he proved himself as like a director that you will at least go see the film.
Of course.
Even if you don't personally connect with it, you will probably go and see a film and then he comes out with Nope, and then Nope is fantastic.
And Nope it's insane. Many of people have talked about it, right?
Like Logan Paul.
So I will use this pedestal I have built myself, this platform, to say Logan Paul's opinions on Nope are fundamentally garbage. Let's talk about it.
I've made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment.
Grandiose spectacle, but at the same time, so small scale. These two, they come from a long lineage of these people that home this ranch of all these horses. They use these horses as stunt horses for Hollywood. Randomly one night, they start seeing some shit. And it kind of goes from there. Everyone's seen the big UFO, jean jacket. way Jean Jacket moves is so... Once the reveal of it, that it is actually...
That it's not a UFO with aliens inside of it, it's a creature. That's very interesting.
Yes, and then you start, like, thinking about it when it's moving in the sky, like how it's this, like, this predator, this ancient predator that God knows how long it's been there, but you have this huge, like, Lovecraftian being. But in reality, it's a story about family. There's a brother and a sister coming together and, like, working on something together.
Right.
And, like, you know what's crazy about that, like, that whole little thing that I just went on? Someone else could have a completely different opinion on the film and what the story is. That's what's so interesting about the film to me, is there's multiple ways of interpretation.
Right.
And the way that Jordan Peele has done that, like, you can take it on face value. You can look at it more. You can look at what the Gordy stuff.
The Gordy stuff is stuff that I've, like, thought about a lot. Like, the character just, like, he was traumatized at a young age due to thinking an animal and him had had a connection or something. Gordy saw him, but he didn't attack him. He thinks he's got, like, this way, like, he can communicate or he can control the animals. And him using that, and, like, that's how he viewed Gordy, and then viewing Jean Jacket the same way, and, like, using it as, like, I'm going to monopolize, and I'm going to make money off of this creature. This, like you said, like, almost Lovecraftian type thing, and he's just, like, and he has this ego that he can do that.
While Daniel Kaluuya and Keke Palmer's characters, the family that's been on this farm,
they rightfully fear it
being co-opted or absorbed by that capitalist mindset. They see it as an opportunity of, like, oh, we can make money off of this.
Yeah.
And it's like that whole continuing narrative of African Americans getting exploited by Hollywood and having that just taken from them, right?
And that's what the TMZ guy that shows up is too.
Yes.
That Hollywood, the big media, shows up and almost co-ops their footage, takes it from them, even though it's been happening to them this whole time.
Yeah.
And Logan Paul was like, I thought he was supposed to be the overarching villain.
It's like, no. It's a singular little bit that just, like, you don't even have to look at it too deeply. You can literally look at it as, oh, it's just another guy that's kind of come into the scene to show how Jean Jacket's, like, kind of terrifying, right?
Right.
You don't have to look at it like that. But if you look closer, if you dig a little bit, there's more there. That's what I like about the film a lot. I think Daniel Kaluuya, he's building this resume of just absolute clinics, just absolute banger performances. And in this, he's playing like a John Wayne archetype. He's so badass and cool, but Jordan Peele directs him in this way of there's, like, awkwardness about him.
Yeah.
And he's trying to fight that, and he's trying to make sense of this. And what's happening right now does not make sense to him. He looks at this huge, gigantic threat like a horse.
Right.
And you have the amazing third act. They're in the, like, it's one end is the sister, one end's the brother, and in the middle is this fucking conflict. And they're just fighting over who's taking it, right? And she lets him take it, and he fucking books it. And Keke Palmer, also brilliant in this film. Shows herself.
Yeah, she does great.
That, like, she goes through, like, a whole range, a whole goddamn arc, and oh god, I think this is a film that people are going to be talking about for a long time. I'm happy that Jordan Peele absolutely knocked it out of the park, and I cannot wait to see what he's going to do next. So we finally made it. Everyone's shaking and quivering in anticipation
in
for
boots.
will be number one.
They said they already did Puss in Boots. What could number one be?
What could it be? Everything Everywhere All at Once is my number one film of the year. I mean, spectacle, right?
It's great. It's a very fun film. Ki Hugh Kwan.
There's just so much about his performance.
Oh, it's great. It's just, not only that, I think I've talked about this before with you, that it's just a lot of it's added by the last time we saw him. He had such a childlike joy and innocence, and his character, Wayman is such like a, he's such a innocent, pure guy.
Yes.
And like it's very, I think a lot of that is helped by the fact that it's played by this guy that we haven't seen since he was Indiana Jones's little sidekick.
And I mean, we have...
And in The Goonies.
Michelle Yeoh, a brilliant performance.
Yes.
By
Yeah,
her.
she did fantastic.
I think it's one of the best performances of the year.
I was like, yeah, in my opinion, she definitely best actress is hers. I think.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see a old Asian woman as a lead in an action film.
No.
I'm not your husband. I'm another version of him from another universe. I'm here because we need your help.
Very busy today. Hold tight to help you.
The film focusing on them is just, that's insane. I can't think of another.
And it's
film.
this like
another
this
action
kung
film
fu,
that does that.
But like, and not just
like this
action.
Matrix level, kind of like action scenes and set pieces.
There's just so many concepts that the film plays with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just action scenes alone.
Yeah,
we've got so much bullshit going on.
Their daughter, Jobu Tupaki.
You and your pig can't be here.
Is it that I can't be here? Or that I'm not allowed to be here?
Hey! She's been snubbed from every single award show, except for the Oscars.
Yeah.
The Oscars was the only one that rightfully gave her a nomination.
She's brilliant in the film as the villain.
Yeah.
Which and the film says so much.
Jamie Lee Curtis does great.
Jamie Lee Curtis,
but
deserving nom. Like super fun little side character.
I have a little
gripe with her. Getting nominated.
I think she does a great job, and I think it's a great performance. She's barely in the film. I really do feel like it's one of those things where the Academy just went, well, we like Jamie Lee Curtis.
We haven't been able to give Jamie Lee Curtis anything. We got to throw her
like it's like throw her a bone, and I'm just like, and like all the other award shows were not nominating the secondary main character.
Yeah.
Who did an amazing job. They were like, no, let's nominate Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, it's very weird.
Who's like in five scenes.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it was very weird. But I think she does a great job. I think she has a fantastic performance.
Universe where we have hot dogs for fingers.
There's so many sweet and personal scenes juxtaposed to these universe-altering fight sequences.
And just silly shit.
Yeah.
Like the rock scene or
the
hot dog fingers.
The hot dog fingers. The
raccoon. Ratatouille.
Now we're cooking.
You can't tell me what.
See too much.
The way that these performances are given are so earnest and so real.
Yes.
That, like, as I said, like, juxtaposed to the silliness and the goofiness of the actual concept. But then when that concept and the goofiness is given weight, it just works. It's that special stew, bud.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Even though I picked another movie as my top one for these performance Oscars and awards and stuff, I've been cheering for the cast of Everything Everywhere All at Once all the way. The cast of my number one pick is great. Like, if they win an award, I go, yeah, they deserved it.
Yeah.
But, like, I want Ki Hugh Kwan, I want Michelle Yeoh.
Well, this is such, like, a unconventional film.
It's just, like, they deserve it. The thing is, worse actors would have ruined this film.
Yes.
Like, the fact that, like, this film is dependent on these awesome performances. because it needs the heart for the film to really connect with people. Like
Absolutely. The performers elevate every single scene that they're in. Whether it is we make it funnier by like our reactions and the way we work off of each other and deliver this this cleverly put together script, or we fucking sucker punch you in the seat with like some emotion and some grit, some nihilism. But then that nihilistic nature of the film just gets spun on its head, you know?
Yes, and that's what I like too. The way nihilism is played within the film is great. Like us being presented with Jobu Tabaki's nihilism, and then being hit with kind of Wayman's nihilism of like, I understand the world is a bad place. It's like, but I mean, it's like, and nothing matters. But I meet it with being kind.
And our central character
and the people around
has
me
to navigate through this nihilism, right?
And then she ends up adopting Wayman's view of the world and is able to resolve the conflict.
Save her daughter.
Yeah. By meeting things with love and kindness. Yes.
Oh, God.
Great film.
Great film.
Fantastic film.
Oh.
Sucked into a bagel.
Oh, God. You put it on me to do the last one?
Of course.
Well, our joint number one. You would have picked this as your number one if we were, you know. We explained this already. The Banshees of Inisherin. Martin McDonagh.
Yes.
Is a fantastic director. He is my favorite director. Every film he's ever made is like a 10 out of 10 for me. I adore it.
A very challenging list of films that he's made.
Yeah. In Bruges, 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbings, Missouri.
7 Psychopaths.
7 Psychopaths. And Banshees of Inisherin.
Yeah. What makes this film so interesting to me when you look at the catalog is this is very like, it's a very personal story like the rest of his.
Yes, it's so small scale, but like the way it's funny because it's so small scale because it's like, oh, there's barely like everyone on this island doesn't have much going on, so it is like the biggest thing going on at this island. Like they're like, did you hear that he's not friends with him no more?
That's the point of that's the film. It's one man wakes up
and decides, I don't want to be friends with you anymore.
Yeah. That's it. And like, what does that mean? Where do we go from there?
Just tell me what I've done to you. Just don't like you no more.
It's funny because my dad actually watched this film. Yes, I'm bringing Jimbo.
Jimbo.
Yeah, he watched it, and he's not like a describe. You know, he doesn't analyze films or stuff. But he said, and I think it was a good observation. He just said, it's such a small story, but it isn't.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, and he's right. It is. It's like when you really zoom out, you're like, oh, like you said, it's about a guy decides he doesn't want to be friends with another guy. But like, there's so much more going on. It's the way that he reacts to that. It's the way that the town itself. The town feels very real. Like everyone in it just feels like they're genuinely like, and we barely even focus on them. But just every scene when they're like in the pub or like walking down the street and he sees people, everyone's such a developed, interesting person.
It's a very lived-in world.
It's a very lived-in world, and like Colin Farrell is just like cartoonishly kind of pure guy that just he doesn't understand why his friend doesn't like him anymore.
His best friend Colum.
Yes.
Played by
Brendan Gleeson.
Brendan Gleeson wakes up one day and says, "I don't want to be friends with you." And I mean, there's so much more than that.
They explain, like he explains his viewpoint, and like you understand his viewpoint, but it's not. But you also understand man, you're just kind of...
He's kind of mean.
You're just an asshole. And not only that, the hypocrisy is a thing I notice when I'm watching it, too. That he's basically like, oh, I don't want to just sit around and talk to you about nothing. Like, I'm getting old. I want to, make a difference. I want to do things. He says this to him, right? Like, I don't want to waste my time just drinking with you at the bar. Like, I got shit I got to do. He does the same exact shit as he did before. Like, he just still goes to the bar every night.
Like, maybe he writes his story.
And the thing is, he's created this issue, is the thing. Is it's like, if he just said, hey, man, I'm going to be busy for a while. Like, I'll get back to you. And then just kind of cut him off gently or something. Yeah. It probably would have been a thing where it's just like, oh, every once in a while when you see him at the pub, you got to be like, oh, hey, man, how you
what's
doing?
Up?
But he decides just I'm openly just going to go I don't like you anymore. I don't want to be your friend. Don't talk to me.
It's about one boring man leaving another man alone, that's all.
One boring man, you're all fucking boring. You're all fucking boring.
There's a lot of analysis as well. There's the war happening in the mainland on Ireland. There's comparisons to be made between what's happening in the film and what's happening Irish Civil War over there. And then you got Barry Keoghan's character.
Yes.
Who's very good, and he's the only character that's kind of portrayed in a way that's kind of similar to Colin Farrell in a lot of ways. But then Colin Farrell kind of, through his shit with this, kind of treats him a little bit like he's being treated.
As this nice person, he kind of has never had to have an outlet.
Yeah.
For that aggression.
And also just the ending of the film is so good. Yes. Of him going, basically you just see Brendan Gleeson's character just brought him down to his level, where Brendan Gleeson is kind of finds him interesting now because he's not nice anymore.
And the thing that this film ends on, after this man has tried the entire length of this film to reconnect, to be friends with him again, and his friend has gone to these extremes and this depressive state. And honestly,
he's like, if you ever talk to me, I'm gonna cut my finger off, and he cuts off his entire hand
to where it's a stump. And even after everything that leads to at the end, he still says, I'll help you anytime.
Yeah, it's played almost comedically, but it is just it is very much intentional that's the last thing, that he just goes, thanks for watching my dog though, and he's just anytime. Even though he was brought to his level, he's still a good guy.
Yeah, he can't help it.
Colin Farrell's character's still a good guy.
Being decent.
Arik, thanks for looking after me dog for me anyways.
Anytime.
Well, it has an interesting thing to say about legacy to the public and legacy to your friends and family. The thing is, even if Combs' song does become popular, they'll never know Combs. No. They'll know the song he made. But and meanwhile, if he just does this to everybody, everyone's just going to be like, oh yeah, that asshole Combs who fucking died. Yeah, he was kind of a dickhead.
He's kind of a piece of shit.
Which legacy is more important? Mm-hmm. The legacy of leaving something tangible to be remembered, or the people who were in your life remembering you fondly?
How's the despair?
It's back a bit. I'm not going to do anything about it. No.
Like I said, I respect my dad. And my dad watches a lot of movies. Yeah. It's just he's not a big analysis guy. But I wasn't sure if this film would really connect with a more general audience. Mm-hmm. But I think it does. I think it's a very easy to understand story. I think you can take the story completely without any subtext or any metaphors or anything like that, and it works. It works great. It's still a very personal, small scale story where it feels appropriately handled, the content versus the performances and how it's shot and how it's presented.
It's the beautiful film, an absolute classic, and another amazing year in film has wrapped up.
Yes, a great year. Nobody mentioned Sonic 2 on our list.
Oh no,
Killian is gonna be upset.
Yeah, somewhere he's fucking furious.
He's writing an angry comment right now.
Or Minions too. No Minions 2 coming.
Well, that was on you. I didn't watch it.
Yeah, that's true. But, I mean, we usually end the video with saying, like, does it honk?
Does 2022 honk?
Oh, that's fun. Well,
this is the year. Wait, for films or in general?
I'd say, from my perspective, 2022 honks for film. A lot of, like, we're still, like, residual from the pandemic era.
Yeah.
And there's some shit.
I think that's the big thing, that it's like, this year, there was some really good stuff, but a lot of it was a little underwhelming because it's like a lot of this production was affected by COVID.
Yeah.
So a lot of the stuff so a lot of movies got delayed, pushed back, kind of like these burner films that are just like, they're all right, were put out. But I think we still got some like really good stuff. And I mean, honestly, I don't think the only thing that I'll say that maybe would would mean it doesn't. There's been a light load.
Yeah.
Of releases this year.
But I mean, the light
load.
But
like a lot of the stuff that came out was really good.
Yeah.
But I do think like actual just amount of film, because like when I look through my stuff, and I don't know if it's just me, I might just be, maybe I haven't seen as many movies this year, but like when I looked at it, I was like, there wasn't a lot that like really grabbed me or like made me definitely nothing that made me go to the theater. I think I've been to the theater like 3 or 4 times this year, and I love the theater.
Yes, but I think the reason why I'm kind of leaning more towards honk is because like the films that I went to the theater to see were things like Nope and things like
I agree. I'll say honk too. It's just I was playing devil's advocate.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
But yeah, I do think that I think overall what I've seen definitely was really good. I think this was a good year.
But like no Sonic 2 on our list. Neither of us.
Killian is upset.
Or Minions 2. Bird's gonna be mad.
Yeah, you've pissed them both off.
Yeah, I've made them both upset. Shit.
You're about to get fired.
I'm going to get fired as a
from
bird.
Both your jobs.
I'm waiting for her to make a bird with someone, not me. Probably just have you on again. You and Bird make a great combo.
How about her and Killian do Sonic 1?
That's what she